types of things do you publish?
What I publish are children's books, and my practice before we started doing children's books, this with our daughter and I, is conflict management. So I'm a chartered mediator by trade, and my education, my master's degree is in conflict analysis management. So all of the work that I've done the last 12, 14 years has been with families and groups in conflict.
Holy moly.
And so I teach about that in applied arts and sciences.
So go ahead, Susan, and let us know what you're
and I guess the evolution for me was stories. And all of us have a story. Every one of us has a story to tell in our families, in our workplaces, and all of our experiences that we have. And one of the things that I found after quite a few years of working with families and groups and people in conflict and then teaching about conflict was there were all of these stories with hope and light and inspiration, but where everybody was at a place of conflict and turmoil and where they were at. And for me, on my own personal journey with my family, we had just recently purchased a ranch 3 years ago, and we were avid horse people, and we started to collect donkeys and goats, and we started raising chickens for our own meat and egg purposes, and all of these things. And I'm still teaching about conflict and writing about conflict in courses that I was developing for Lethbridge College, and teaching at Athabasca University the 3rd and 4th years. And I thought, there's something else, there has to be something else in life than conflict all the time. And that's what I I was passionate about, supporting people and understanding what conflict meant for themselves. And so as we're sitting around our kitchen tables and we're visiting with the neighbors and we're telling stories, because this whole experience is new to us, about goats. And it was Molly who actually wanted to get a goat because she had read these books or seen these shows and she thought goats were pretty cool. We didn't know anything about goats. So we got the one goat, Gunther, who our ebooks are about, and they just have this funny little characteristics about them, and their little character and their personalities, just like with a dog or a cat or any other type of pet, was shining through. And then he's really mischievous, and he's getting into trouble, and these strange little things are happening around a ranch that my husband and I would look at each other and say, is that what goats do? And my husband would always say, well, that's what Gunther does. And because neither one of us knew. And so then we're telling all these stories of, the goat and our 14-year-old black lab Roddy Cross are best friends. And they go and they dig for gophers all day long. And they lay together on the step. And they share Pepper shares her dog food with the goat. And all of these weird things, they groom each other and everything. And we're like, this doesn't seem like anything that fits in any of the baskets that we know about farm animals, right? Just from what we had read and seen, not having experienced it. And then we got this little donkey called Buddy, and Buddy's about this tall, but don't tell him that. And he knows how to open gates, and he knows how to open doorknobs in the barn, and he goes on little missions by himself, and he drags stuff out, and he gets in trouble, and he totally destroys things. And I'd say to my husband, is that what donkeys do? And he'd say, well, that's what Buddy does. And we're telling our friends these stories. And then our other neighbor friends are telling us about their mules and how every day at 3:15, they'd undo the gate and they'd run out to meet the school bus when the kids are getting off the bus and scare the heck out of the school bus drivers. Because they'd be driving along and all of a sudden these big mules would be standing in front of the bus. I'd say, is that what mules do? And they said, well, that's what our mules do. And so Molly and I are sitting around talking, and we're taking pictures because we're avid scrapbookers. So we scrapbook both on paper and digital. And we're taking these pictures and we're telling these stories, and all our friends are saying, you should write a book about that. Like, wouldn't it be great to share that with other children and let them know that these types of things can happen? And so I started to do some research on it, and I personally was really excited because it wasn't about conflict. It was about light, and there was little conflicts that were involved in it, but it was about sharing a story, sharing our story, but also sharing something fun and light. So then Molly is my editor-in-chief, and I'm like, once you tell the stories and then you sit down as an author and you're trying to write things out so that it makes sense and it's in order and there's context and everything else, and I'd read her these stories and tell them to her, and she'd say, Mom, no kid is going to read that. Tell them this. And then she'd add the really cool, fun stuff in the story about Gunther the Goat and friends. So we published our first ebook in March, and it's available in every e-reader format that you could possibly have. Kindle was our first kind of source we went to. Then Apple iBooks is the next one. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the Sony e-reader store, Kobo, Kudu, kind of anything, any type of e-reader or e-reader app that you can purchase, you can get Gunther the Goat and friends. And then what we also did was we built a companion website now, and we've uploaded a variety of different videos, just short little clips of 30 to 60 seconds or a minute and a half. So when children are reading in their ebook, if they're on a device that supports Wi-Fi, right embedded within the ebook are links that'll take them to, actually you're reading about how Gunther likes to, scrub his horns, or he rubs it against the dog or whatever. Click here and here's a video where you'll actually be able to see Gunther in real life doing that. And then the way we decided to do our illustrations was I had contacted a number of illustrators who are ridiculously talented, and they would send their pictures and samples of Gunther and what he could look like. And then Molly, again, my little spark of inspiration, said, "Mom, you scrapbook. Wouldn't it be cool to have children's books where we have real pictures of what's going on, and then we could scrapbook cartoon pictures?" So in all of our ebooks, we've got real pictures from our family that we're sharing about Gunther and all of his friends on a couple of pages, and then for the pages where we might not have a picture for that scene, we have a cartoon Gunther and his friends that we do throughout the book. So it's very interactive. It's all self-published, and we use bookbaby.com as who we self-publish through, and that goes to every single e-reader site, and we have a global market for that as well, which is really cool. And then I was telling the ladies next to me here with their quilting, we use social media sites like Facebook and Pinterest to market and spread the word about our ebooks. And then again, they're all in digital format, and they're all available in download format on any e-reader.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Susanna. Well, I think